Your beliefs determine your habits. Your habits determine the type of person you will be. The type of person you will be determines the type of life you will live. So therefore, your beliefs determine your life. So since beliefs are so important to the type of life you will live, you'd assume that most people are vigilant of their beliefs, that they continually assess them and ask themselves, where did I get this belief from? But it's quite the opposite. Most people live life never questioning their beliefs, never questioning why they believe certain things, why they see things a certain way. And I've met very few people who actually question their beliefs, who change their beliefs. And in fact, I was one of them. I didn't question my beliefs. I didn't question why I thought a certain way. I didn't question why I believed certain things until just a few months ago. And the shocking thing is that 99.9% of the beliefs that people have were not created by them. Instead, they adopted them from their parents, from their environment, from their friends, without ever questioning things. Instead, there were things that happened to them between the ages of 0 and 7, and they just carried on believing things based on what happened to them in their childhood. The reason why I said from the time you're born to 7 years old is because during that time, your brain is in a certain wave state whereby you can't decide to accept a belief. You just accept everything that you're given. So if you see something happening, you immediately be like, oh, that's the way things are. But yeah, that's besides the point. You don't really need to know that. And I said most of the beliefs that people have, they didn't choose them. They were adopted from the environment, parents, friends, teachers, stuff like that. And this is personally true for me. I am an extremely ambitious man. I'm driven, and I know I'm going to achieve great things in my life. And to achieve these great things that I want to achieve, to be an outlier, you have to have beliefs that are different to other people. Because if you had the same beliefs as everyone, you would have the same life as everyone. I grew up in a relatively small country in southern Africa. It's called Zimbabwe. In fact, I still live here. Probably going to live here for most of my life. And I love this country with my whole heart. But there's a very pessimistic atmosphere about this country. And I would say it's the same in most African countries. I've grew up in an environment that believed that Africans aren't supposed to be as successful as other people. No one explicitly said that, but most people believed it. Most people believe that Africans are supposed to be lower than Europeans, than North Americans and Asians. People subconsciously believe that outliers aren't meant to be Africans. The people who achieve great things are supposed to be Europeans, supposed to be Americans. And many times, in fact most times, when I'd express what I want to do with my life, what I want to achieve, and I'd give examples of people who have done it, they would be like, let's say it was someone who was white, right? They would tell me, look at the color of his skin, look at the color of your skin. You're black, he's white. Black people can't do the same things as white people. And I was continually told this in my childhood. I was told that, he's from America and you're from Zim, so you can't do the same things as him. It's harder for black people to do certain things. You can't do this because of that. You can't do that because of this. And further on from racism, some beliefs like money is the root of all evil. Another one is that to be rich, to be wealthy, you need to be crooked and you need to be corrupt. These beliefs were fed to me from such a young age. Every time I would see a nice car, I'd be like, that's a nice car. Someone would be like, you never know, they could be doing drugs, so you shouldn't look at a nice car and want it because people who are rich, they're corrupt and they do evil things. And so many of the beliefs that I had and still have, I adopted from my environment. I adopted it because that's what the people around me were saying. That's what I was being told continuously. And as much as I love Africa, it's been an extremely pessimistic environment, but it's something that I'm going to change. It's something that we have to change. As the young generation, if you're watching this, if you're living in Africa, or if you're living in a community that is very pessimistic, that has negative beliefs, the way most people handle it is going to another place, going to another environment where things are better. But we have to make a change. We have to show people what's possible. We have to show people that you actually can succeed. You can get rich by being just, by being upright. You can do all of those things. And it's something that I'm going to change in Zim. And for my fellow African brothers, right, you can probably relate when I say that for some time, for some period of your life, you saw yourself as less than the white people. You saw yourself as less than the other races. And I'm not trying to attack any race. I'm just saying facts. You saw yourself as less than others. So you'd always try to prove yourself to them. You'd always try to fit in with those racial groups and whatnot. Until one day, when you're about 15, 16 years old, you looked at it as why am I doing this? Why do I see myself as less than them? And then you just stopped and you embraced who you are. Embraced who you truly are. So since your beliefs govern your life, I want you to ask yourself, how many of the beliefs that you have right now are your own? How many of the beliefs that you have right now are negative? Because to be honest, your beliefs are meant to serve you. They are meant to propel you to greatness, not to limit you, not to make you feel like you can't achieve anything, not to make you feel like, I shouldn't do that because it's evil. And when I look at the lovely continent of Africa, right, I think our biggest problem isn't really like leadership, or it isn't whatever. Our biggest problem lies in our beliefs. Subconsciously, we don't believe we're as good as others. Subconsciously, we don't believe that we can achieve as much. So I have a vision. Maybe fulfilled 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, but a vision whereby Africans are now seeing themselves as worthy, now adopting beliefs that serve them, that propel them towards success. I want you to question your beliefs. I want you to take some time, take an hour, and write down some of your current beliefs, the ones that are like super obvious to you. And I want you to question, where do they come from? Do they serve me? And if they don't serve you, I want you to change them. I want you to replace that belief with the positive version of that. So if you don't believe that you can succeed, replace it with a belief that you're worthy of success and that you are going to succeed as long as you try hard enough. Replace old negative beliefs with new positive beliefs that serve you.